Wednesday, we began our mini writing lesson for the PSSA practice. Each week, we're going to be doing one paragraph towards a particular style of writing until we finish an entire writing essay. When we're done, we'll turn it in, we'll review it, and it will be incorporated into your language arts grade. Last week, we started with an argumentative writing prompt. This is a prompt that is coming directly from a PSSA test, so this is a great practice prompt. The first thing we did last week was we took a look at the writer's checklist for an argumentative writing prompt. We know before we begin writing, we need to plan. We need to ask ourselves, what is the prompt asking? And who is the audience? We have to think about the topic at hand and the claim that we're going to use to support our side of an argument. We're going to organize our ideas using graphic organizers that I am providing to you for this practice. You want to keep focused while you're writing. We're going to stay on topic by stating our claim, supporting the claim with reasons and evidence, presenting one or more alternate or opposing claims, which is called a counter-argument, which we'll get to 2 weeks from today. We're going to organize with an introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion, and we're going to use transitions to connect our ideas. We'll stay focused and on task and on topic. We'll use reasons and evidence to support the claim, and we'll correct all of our errors in capitalization, spelling, sentence formation, punctuation, and word choice. The next piece that we looked at last week was the dirty dozen. And this is a list of different phrases, words you want to stay away from while writing for the PSSAs. This is going to be a reference that we will continue to use with each paragraph that we're working on for this essay. So we're going to keep in mind that we cannot use the pronoun I. No, I think, I believe, I feel. No, in my opinion. We're not going to use contractions, which is when you put two words together, like do and not, and you put don't. Due to the fact of, to start with, none of these phrases we are going to use. So we have to keep this out and in mind and skim through our writing when we're done to make sure that there are no words or phrases from this list in our writing. So keep this handy. The last reference that we looked at last week was called the funnel model, and the funnel model is a way to tunnel our ideas from broad, very general statements into a specific thesis statement. So this particular model, the funnel model, is just designed for the introduction paragraph. So once you use this for your first paragraph, you can set it aside. So for this particular writing piece today, for our body paragraph 1, we will not be using the funnel model, but it's still important to keep as a reference to look at this when you are doing and constructing introductory paragraphs. Taking a look at the actual writing prompt that I did for the example last week, we were considering schools that are focusing on one particular area of study. So the prompt read, some think that schools should put more focus on a particular area of study. For example, some schools might focus more on science. In these schools, students might take more classes in science, math, and technology. Other schools might focus more on the arts by offering students more opportunities in theater, music, and visual arts. Should schools focus on a particular area of study? Write an argumentative essay for your teacher supporting your claim about whether schools should or should not focus on a particular area of study. Be sure to use your reasons and evidence to develop your argument. So for this, we started by asking the question, what is the question asking me? And we determined this is, should schools focus on particular areas of study? So for the argumentative essay, I have to choose one side of this argument. I cannot be on the fence or see both sides. I'm going to argue one particular side of this. The second thing we did is we determined who is the audience, and we know that this is for a teacher. It's specifically stated here in the writing prompt, so we want to keep this as an academic tone throughout the paper. Now, on Wednesday of last week, we constructed our introductory paragraph as an example here, and I color-coded for you the different pieces that follow the funnel model. So we started with our general statement, and this is kind of off topic, but it still should be able to tie back to the writing prompt. The blue area here is things that are developing that topic and adding to that topic. And then finally, the last piece is our thesis statement. And the thesis statement is going to be your opinion stated very clearly. But again, you cannot use words like I or I think or I believe. So you're just stating your side of the argument, and then you're including 2 reasons why you believe that. So reason 1 and reason 2. Today, we're going to be building on top of your introductory paragraph. And yours is different than mine because we have my example prompt here, and then we have your student prompt. So ours will look different, but it's still going to follow the same model here. So we're going to today construct our first body paragraph. And in order to determine what our first body paragraph is about, we want to take a look at our thesis statement. So this is not part of the body paragraph here, but this is just to organize our thoughts. My thesis statement from last week was, schools should not focus on particular areas of study because doing so could prevent students from discovering their strengths and interests. That's my reason 1. And 2, it could cause students who are interested in an area which is not being focused on to become disinterested in school. So I have 2 distinct reasons why I believe my side of the argument is better than the other side, why I believe that we should not focus on only small areas of study. So for the body paragraph 1 today, you're just going to be focusing on your first reason in your thesis statement. So for me, I highlighted the 2 reasons in my thesis statement, different colors, so we can visually see this here. So I'm only looking at schools should not focus on particular areas of study because doing so could prevent students from discovering their strengths and interests. For now, I'm going to disregard this whole second piece of the thesis. We're not there. That will be in a separate second body paragraph. So for constructing a body paragraph, and again, just focusing on our reason 1 of our thesis, we're going to be using a model that's called the tied model. So think that you want to tie up your body paragraphs nice and neat. You want to tie them up with a bow to present it in an orderly way. So we are going to be using this to guide us through the process of constructing a strong body paragraph. The first sentence in your body paragraph should be a topic sentence. A topic sentence is a sentence that shows your reader what the paragraph is going to be about. For your topic sentence of your body 1, you are going to restate in new words your reason 1 from your thesis statement. So I have done this already, and I will show you what this piece here looks like. So for my topic sentence, I put, if schools only focused on limited areas of study, it would inhibit students from realizing their own strengths and interests. So this is just this first piece of my thesis statement. I use different words so that it doesn't look exactly the same as the first piece of my thesis, but it is the exact same concept. It is the exact same idea. After you have your topic sentence, you're going to move to the I in tied, which is introduce some evidence. This is closely related with the next task, E, explain evidence and examples. So for the first piece of this, introduce evidence, I came up with something that I thought was relevant to my argument that it's going to stop students from realizing their own strengths and interests. So for my introduction of evidence, introduce evidence, I put many freshman students who start college with a major they thought would be right for them actually end up changing that major after taking introduction courses and realizing the major is not for them. So I chose this as my evidence because I need to prove that students cannot realize their strengths and interests if they don't have all of these broad different areas of study in school, and that's actually affecting people's lives, and that's affecting them when they go to college or when they're continuing on and finding jobs after high school. So for my evidence, I chose something that's directly related to my topic sentence, but also add some real life example about how this is a problem. So after I introduce the evidence, I want to kind of elaborate on it a little bit more and give some extra information that is important to this topic. So this is going to be the evidence examples explanation. I said this uncertainty with choosing a future career path is usually due to the student not yet discovering what course of study aligns with their strengths and, more importantly, their interests. So again, this is elaborating on the idea that after high school, if you don't have exposure to science and history and art and music, you might not know what you want to do. And if I do have all of these options and I can study all of these different areas in school, then I will have a better idea about what I want to do in life. So this is a real life example of my topic sentence of how this is affecting students realizing strengths and interests, and then I'm elaborating on it a little bit more with the second piece, the evidence and examples. After I have these 3 sentences, I'm going to move on to the discussion and transition. So these are 2 separate pieces here. The discussion is going to be discussing how the evidence is important and how it proves your argument, connect it back to your thesis statement. And then the transition will be transitioning into the next paragraph, leading into it. So let's start with the discussion, the D of our TIDE. For discussion, you are going to link all of this evidence that you're coming up with here back to your thesis statement. So for my discussion sentence here, I put, if schools limit the exposure students have to different areas of study, there will be even more uncertainty among them, leading to more confused freshmen in college or even in life in general after high school. So I'm linking this back to my specific topic sentence and to my specific thesis statement, which is that I believe we should be able to focus on all different areas so that we don't have this confusion about what our strengths and interests are. So that discussion is linking back all of these examples and evidence to my thesis statement. The last portion of our TIDE model, topic sentence, introduce evidence, explain evidence and examples, discussion, and transition. So for the transition, you're leading into the next body paragraph that you will have. And we're not doing that today. We're only doing one body paragraph. So you're going to lead into or transition into the second paragraph so that it's not very broken apart, so that it's not very disjointed. We want a smooth transition into that next paragraph. So for my transition sentence, I put, while this issue of uncertainty in life after school is important and concerning in itself, it's not the only issue that can arise from this lack of exposure to different subject matters. So now I addressed the piece that I just talked about in this body paragraph 1, while also saying, hey, there's something more that we're going to look at as well. And that will transition nicely into my second body paragraph. So for today, your task is to create a body paragraph for your first reason of your thesis statement. So you're going to be using your argumentative writing prompt that you got, and you are going to be looking at your introductory paragraph, and that should be saved in my files. You're going to specifically look at the last sentence of your introductory paragraph, which is your thesis statement. And then it might be helpful for you to label or highlight, color code the 2 reasons you put in that thesis statement. So schools should not focus on particular areas of study because here's my reason 1, and then here's my reason 2. And we're only looking at reason 1. So you should find your thesis statement, look at your reason 1, and then follow through the TIDE model. Topic sentence. You're going to restate your reason 1 from your thesis as a sentence on its own, using different words but the same idea. You're going to introduce evidence, explain the evidence and examples, discuss how it ties back to your main idea and your side of the argument, and then transition into a second paragraph. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences in your body paragraph 1, and they should be following the TIDE model. You can have more than 5 sentences. If you want to introduce evidence with 2 sentences, or if you want to explain your evidence and examples with 2, 3, 4 sentences, that's fine. You can have more than 5 sentences, but you cannot have less than 5 sentences. Once you complete your body paragraph 1, you'll save in my files and you will turn it in as well to be graded before next Wednesday. So you have a whole week to work on this, but use this time wisely now to get done as much as possible. Again, you are using your student practice argumentative essay writing prompt, and yours is on class presidents. So take a look at your introductory paragraph, follow the tide model, finish body paragraph 1, save in my files, and turn in to eBackpack by Wednesday. If you have questions, please come see me. I'm here to help you. Good luck.